Hey there everyone and welcome to this guide on how to use Vim. Now in this guide, I'm going to show you everything that you need to get started with Vim and use it to edit different types of text files and everything. So let's get started with that. Alright, before getting started, I want to first talk about why Vim exactly. So Vim is a text editor, as you might already know, and you need Vim to edit a lot of text files. Now, why would you want to work with text files specifically? And why would you want to use a terminal based text editor such as Vim? Now, if you're writing some sort of code, if you're developing an application, sure, for that you can use VS Code. But if you're trying to do something on a server, I mentioned this in one of the previous videos as well, that in servers, you don't have any sort of a graphical user interface. So you have to rely solely on the terminal. In that case, it becomes really important to know how to use a CLI based text editor, and that is Vim, which we are going to look at today. So a bit of history before we get started. Initially, Linux, or rather a Unix system, had a text editor called as VI. That is just the very first version of what Vim is today. That had its own problems, that had its bugs. You couldn't customize it a lot. So after VI, we got Vim. Vim is basically just VI improved. That's how it gets the name Vim. So we have Vim. It fixes a lot of the bugs that the original VI text editor had, and now it's used quite a lot in the industry. It's my personal favorite CLI based editor to use. And then we also have neovim. Now the difference between neovim and Vim is just customizability. So there is something called as Vim plugins, which basically just allows you to put a couple of extensions or plugins into your Vim and increase the functionality of Vim. Now this is a little difficult to customize with regular Vim, which is why we have neovim. Neovim basically allows you to script using Lua, the programming language, and enhance your plugin functionality to whatever you want. So that's why a lot of people prefer using neovim for extending what their Vim can do. But the basic usage between Vim and neovim is just the same. The only difference is the plugin features. So now let's go ahead and dive into a terminal and let's see how to actually install and use Vim. Alright, so right here, I'm here in a terminal. Yes, I'm using WSL2, and everything that I'm going to do here in WSL is going to be the exact same in any other distribution. Whether you're using Ubuntu, Fedora, Arch, Gentoo, whatever. All the steps are going to be the exact same. There's nothing WSL specific that I'm going to show you here. The steps which I'm about to show you, it'll work absolutely everywhere. So first, let's say that you do not have Vim installed on your system. How do you install it? Now what I'm using right here is WSL based on Kali Linux, which is also a Debian based Linux distribution. If you didn't understand what I said, just understand that I am running a Debian based Linux distribution. So the package manager which I'm going to use is apt. Now I will make a complete separate video explaining how package managers and all that work. So don't worry about that right now. Right now, all we're going to do is install Vim. And for that, it's just a simple command. Sudo apt install Vim. I'll press enter. I'll give it my password and it'll install Vim. Alright, so now that we have Vim installed, I want to go ahead and create a blank file. But before that, I'm just going to make a folder called Vim tutorial just to make this whole process a little easier. So I'll make a new directory called Vim tutorial and I'll cd into that. And right now it's completely empty. Now I'm just going to go ahead and create a demo.txt file. Okay, there's my demo.txt file, and everything that we're going to do to learn about Vim will be in this. If you're confused as to what are these commands which I just ran, mkdir touch ls, then go ahead and watch my navigation and file management video. Now we want to open this demo.txt in Vim, so we're just going to do vim demo.txt. And right here, we are inside Vim. Obviously, it's completely blank because the demo.txt file doesn't have any content inside it, right? So right now, we are in something called as the command mode. The command mode is also called as the normal mode. But what it basically is we give different kinds of commands to Vim. Suppose we want to copy and paste some file. We'll do it within this mode. We want to save a file, save and exit a file. We'll do it through the command mode. I'll show you a demo of all of that in just a little while. But first, let's go ahead and write some text in this. So in order to write some text, I have to first go into an insert mode. So for that, I'll press I on my keyboard and now I'm in insert mode. Now I can write a couple of lines. Let's say, hello world. This is a tutorial on how to use Vim. Okay. I've written this much in my text file. Now I want to save this file. So I'm going to come back in command mode and I do that by pressing escape. Okay. Now how to know whether you're in command mode or in insert mode? Now if you look at the bottom of my screen, right around this area, you can't see anything written. Now I'm going to go back into insert mode for a second. You see there's insert written right here. That tells me that I'm in insert mode. And now I press escape and come back into command mode and there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. That is why I mentioned at the beginning that this is also called as your normal mode. Okay, so now let's go ahead and save this file. Actually, I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to save and exit this file. So for that, I'll come in command mode with escape. I will write colon WQ. WQ basically means write and quit. You can give these two words individually to just do those one particular item as well. And I'll show you that as well in a minute. But first, let's save and exit this file. Okay. So we've exited it here. And now let's just do a cat and see what's within this file. You can see that everything that we just typed out is within this file, right? Now I'm going to go back in Vim and I will show you what is just save. So let me go insert mode as well. This is a second line and I do just W and this line is saved. And if I want to quit out of Vim now, I will do Q and here I'm out of Vim and I can once again cat this and you can see that my new line is here as well. All right, so coming back to Vim, let's say I have written some sort of gibberish and I've written a lot of gibberish. I do not want to save this. I just want to get rid of this file and I want to discard these changes as well. So in that case, I'll just come and type :Q. But this is not going to work. See, it's saying that there are no write changes. So we need to add an overwrite. An overwrite is simply putting an exclamation mark after the command. So here I do Q exclamation mark and it will exit me out of Vim without saving any of that. The same way, if you want to, let's say you have written something and a normal :W is not working for saving the file, then you'll do a :W exclamation mark to just save all of it. You usually see that sort of an error when there's a mismatch of permissions within your files. All right, so that is all about how you can write things inside Vim and how you can save your Vim files, exit out of Vim, all those good things. Now let's take a look at how you can copy and paste a couple of lines. So let's say I want to copy this particular line here, tutorial line. So in order to copy it, while I am in command mode, I will press Y twice. So I will do YY on this. And let's say I want to paste it on this empty line right here. Then I'll press P for parrot. I'll press P and it gets pasted right here. There's one more thing I want to show you. Let's say I want to write another line right below this is. There are two ways for me to do this. I can either go into insert mode, press enter to get a new line, or the second method, instead of pressing I will press O. O is basically going to put me in insert mode and automatically add a new line. So this is super useful when you edit stuff like YAML files. All right, so now you know how to insert a new line and start typing on that. You know how to copy and paste files. Now let's talk about how to delete a particular line, or rather cut a particular line and paste it somewhere else. So let's say I want to take this line, how to use how to. Okay, so I'll press D twice. So I'll press DD. Now that entire line has been cut. Let's say I want to paste it right here. I'll press P and it pastes the entire line right here. Okay, so it cut it from here and it pastes it down here. Okay, so now I want to show you something more fun. Let's say on this particular line, I want to cut only the word is. I want to keep this right here on this line. Only the word is, I want to remove it, right? So for that, I'll do capital D. Now what capital D did exactly is everything that existed beyond the point of S of this, it cuts that and puts it in my clipboard. And now I can paste it somewhere like right here. Now let's say you did something that you didn't mean to and you want to undo. So in that case, go ahead and press U and that's going to undo all of your changes. All right, so I've shown you a lot of the basics. There's just one more element of Vim which I want to show you, which is called as the visual mode. Now the visual mode is just something that you use to select a bunch of text. And I usually use it to copy and paste something. You can even use it to cut and paste. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So let's say I want to copy these two lines, hello world and this is. So I will press V to enter my visual mode and I will use my arrow keys to select both these lines. Okay. Now, just like I did with copy and paste and cut and paste, I will use the exact same command. So I can use YY over here. It's copied and I can paste them right over here. See? And I can do the exact same thing with cut as well. Let me show you. I select these two lines. I press DD and then I come down here and I'll paste them. Now, one more useful feature in Vim is the searching feature. I'm going to open a different text file just to give you an idea about how useful the search feature can be. So I'm going to be right back after opening that file. Alright, so here we are in the etc directory. And if you watched my video on the Linux file system and what the directories are all about, you know that etc contains just the configuration files for my system. So within this, there are definitely going to be files which have a lot of text to dig through, right? So let's go ahead and open one of the files randomly. Let's see. Let's just go with my bash rc, which is just the configuration file for my bash system. This is a really long file. Now, so if I want to search for, let's say this right here, Debian chroot, it's going to take me a lot of time to dig through this entire file and find exactly where all Debian chroot appears, right? So instead, I can use this really nice feature of Vim, which allows me to search for a particular string. So to do that, I will press slash and then the string that I'm looking for. So Debian chroot. Now there are multiple instances of this chroot, like right here on this line, you can see two. Just up here, there's another instance of Debian chroot, right? So in order to go over all of these instances, I will first press enter and then I will use small n to search for all of them. Now usually the entire text will get highlighted, but for some reason here it's just pointing me to that instance. I'm not sure why, but it'll show you all of the instance. Now this is just going below the right. So from top to bottom is going. Now if I want to go from the bottom of the file to the top of the file, I will press capital N and it'll show me all those instances back in reverse order, right? So you can see how this will be very useful if you're editing like a code file or any sort of configuration files, right? All right, yeah, so that's pretty much all you need to get started with Vim. Now the rest is all about practice. Now I'd encourage you to go ahead and try to edit as many files as you can using Vim and just get some hands-on practice. If you get stuck anywhere, then feel free to join the NorioHub Discord server. You can ask there, or alternatively, you can go ahead and Google something as well. Now, don't be afraid to Google. When I initially got started with Vim, I had to Google the same commands over and over a lot. I had to Google how to save and exit a file a lot. So don't be afraid if you have to go ahead and Google these things multiple times. Just get some hands-on practice.